Hello everybody, Paul from Nolatone Amp Works here, your resident tone fanatic and certifiable gun nut. This is going to be part 3 of my video series where I take the Wilson Combat P320 with action tune trigger upgrade and a 6-hour P320 M17 stock and upgrade it to see if I can reach the level of this gun. All guns are clear, no magazines. Okay, I decided to do an extra step. First part was bone stock M17. Part 2, upgraded the grip module to a Wilson Combat grip module. Part 3, I had intended to do the entire Gray Guns competition trigger kit, but what I decided to do was add another step and only replace the trigger and not the rest of the innards, the springs and the sear and all the things that come with the kit. So I'm adding the part 3. Part 4 will follow with the rest of the parts. So I've installed the flat trigger from that Gray Guns competition trigger kit. One thing that I want to do, if anybody's ever tried to do this and watched videos on how to replace the trigger and deal with the trigger bar and the trigger bar spring in the P320 fire control unit, if you can see this little pin here that sticks out. In all the videos I've found on YouTube, you basically float that into the front hole of the trigger bar and you can actually change this trigger without actually detaching the trigger bar or spring. With the Gray Guns, it doesn't work quite that way. There is a notch. This pin is in between two notches, one above it and one below it. And it provides a channel. If I had it out, I probably should have shown it before I installed it. Maybe I'll show it when I install the rest of the kit. But basically the bar, you can't float the bar in there. You have to align the bar with the channel those two notches create. So you do have to, in fact, take the trigger bar spring off. Anybody who's dealt with this probably knows what I'm talking about. And a little trick that the good people at Gray Guns passed on to me. It's hard to see there, but what I've done is I've taken a little small flat tip screwdriver and taken a file and filed a little notch in the top, in the top of the blade towards the edge, and that allows me to use it as a leverage for the. If you can try to picture the hook in the spring, it kind of allows me a grabber claw to push it in there. I'll try to show in more detail when I do the rest of this. But what I found was kind of surprising, replacing this trigger only and without the rest, just the trigger itself. And this is part of why this part of the trigger is different. There is a geometry and a leverage component involved, and I don't think people talk too much about that. This trigger alone, without changing anything else, lightens the trigger pull. So if I recall, the pull was, I don't know, 6.5 pounds before. I'd have to review the video, but if you look at it now, just changing the trigger shoe, £3 14 ounces. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it 3 times. I think I got a bad pull on that one. Okay, one more. 4 pounds, 1.1 ounce. Let's do one more. Okay, 4 pounds, 8 ounces. That was another bad pull. But this thing's pulling right around 4 pounds, give or take. an ounce or two. And of course, the Wilson Combat with the action tune trigger, which is basically the same trigger shoe as I have here, but with the rest of the springs and the other things in the kit. Is pulling at 2 pounds 15 ounces, just below 3 pounds. So I was kind of surprised at how much difference just that trigger makes. It makes a big difference. So anyway, that's where we are on this one, part 3. I will do the range comparison. Stay tuned. Have a great afternoon. Thank you. Okay, range test for part 3 of the Wilson Combat P320 with action tune trigger versus the Sig Sauer M17. Again, we've upgraded the grip module, and at this point the trigger shoe itself, internals, but just the trigger shoe. First up, Wilson Combat. Pretty similar. A little bit heavier might be better for duty. I don't know. Next step will be to finish putting the springs and the other bits. Stay tuned. Okay, I just came out of the range. I think I can't seem to figure out how to wait to talk when they're not shooting. I guess that's a skill that I haven't developed yet. But I just wanted to make a comment to add to this video. The M17 with the gray guns, I think it's basically just the adjustable flat straight trigger. I think that's what that is from their product catalog. I think that's part of the Gray Guns competition triggered kit. I don't think there's a difference between those triggers. I may be wrong. If somebody can correct me if I am. But I will say, so far, out of the 2 upgrades I've done so far, that is by far the most significant to me in terms of how I feel about shooting the gun. As you can see from the group, they're very similar. I'm not sure I'm going to like it better when I finish putting the action tune kit or the competition kit in. I'm going to do that, but it may well be coming back out. So I just wanted to give you that comment without the background noise. Have a good evening.